This kit was originally produced in 1976, and it would go down through 5 different manufacturers, with this one being from the 3rd manufacturer after they had redesigned the box in 1994 with the Mr.Hobby logo. It's widely known that the 1350 RMS Lusitania kit is out of production, which means it's rather scarce, and it's extraordinarily expensive when you do find one. Today I'm going to show what is inside this box to show how extraordinary this kit actually is. Now I'm not going to bore anyone with the instruction booklet, as it's pretty straightforward as to what should be expected out of this. However, what I did want to point out is that the history on the front is rather detailed, actually pointing out a few things I was not expecting, such as the ship had 192 furnaces for its boilers. Overall, the accuracy is extraordinary. However, it does have one major detail that's incorrect that I want to point out, as it lists the ship's beam at 38 feet, where in reality it was 87. I do not know how this error was made, but just be aware of it. One final note that I want to make, though it is more personal to me, is that the photo was supplied by the Mariners Museum in Newport News, Virginia, and the only reason that this caught me off guard is because this is where I'm currently employed. Now to move on to the model itself. The hull comes in 2 halves, port and starboard. Personally, I dislike this setup as it leaves a gap down the center line of the ship. However, this can be easily filled using putty if you have the patience and time, but when I test fitted it, overall it seemed to go together fairly well. To negate the downside of it being in 2 halves, the details on the hull are extraordinary, doing the hull panel lines, portholes, gangway doors, and even the coal chutes, which these are not what I was expecting from the kit due to its age. However, it's taken me by pleasant surprise. Up next we have clear plastic parts, which for the most part they are the ship's skylights. Now I'm glad that they decided to do this, however one downside is there's no interior to go with them, so this means you're going to just look down into an empty model, so I'm not too certain if this is necessary, but it's a cool idea. Up next we have a series of decks, which overall I'm happy with the details of the decks since they include planking. However, what I don't understand is that the decks are molded in different colors, so you have this tan looking color and then you have a rather dark brown. I'm sure there was a reason that these decks were molded in 2 separate colors. However, if you go to hand paint these with a brush, the darker decks might be more difficult to cover up properly. And as we move up to the navigation deck, a lot of details are already molded into the deck, such as the ventilation covers and a few skylights, which is okay. Up next we have a rack which basically consists of accessories such as lifeboats, the rudder, and various pieces of mechanical deck equipment. The lifeboats are very well detailed, showing plank work and even some ropes running down the sides. The rudder is also very nicely detailed for what it is. The mechanical equipment, though lesser on detail, is still relatively recognizable compared to their real counterparts. Next we have the upper superstructure, primarily focused around the promenade decks. Now I've never had a kit where these are separate pieces, so I'm not sure how well they're going to fit. However, they do look very nice both on the outside and inside. Next, we have a sheet consisting of gold parts, which have the stand for the ship, the 4 propellers, and the 3 anchors. Now, this is a common thing I've seen across the kits that are being sold, where the propellers are starting to pop off the sprue and they take damage in the process. So this means that there's a high chance that a lot of people are going to have to reshape the blades. However, the propellers still look relatively good and are most certainly salvageable. Next we have what's basically a rack of bars, so you have the mast, lifeboat davits, stairwell rails, and cranes. These are all very recognizable components, so I would say their details are good enough. The next sprue is what I consider to be a model builder's favorite for ocean liners, as it consists of the 4 identifiable funnels. Now while we're looking at the funnels, something I'll say I do dislike about this kit quite strongly is the fact that they've included holes along the decks and other components such as the funnels for the rigging to run through. I do not want to run the rigging through, so this means that these holes will have to be covered up. A few other notable components are the roof to the bridge and second class deck house and the 4 propeller wings. The next sprue consists of basically just handrails. There's not too much to say here other than their details are relatively good for what they are. Up next, we have the bulkhead workings for the Superstructure. Now this is another part of the model that pleasantly surprised me. I was not prepared for the details that this incorporates, such as slide molded windows, the handrails, moldings, and even the doors. And if you look close enough, you can even see the ventilation covers above each and every window. Next, there is a bag of decals, rigging wire, and chains for the anchors. Now, I'm going to almost guarantee that these decals are bad and cannot be used anymore due to their age. However, the anchor chain being metal is nice. The final component to this kit is a base that is made of plastic, though it is textured to be wood. So to sum up my thoughts on this kit, it does have a couple of problems that show due to its age. However, some of the major problems with it are all manufacturer decisions, which I have already pointed out. However, I do not think anything is significant enough for anyone to want to turn their head away from this kit should they be given the opportunity to buy it. It is still a wonderful kit and overall a masterpiece to add to any ocean liner enthusiast collection. With that being said, that is all I have to say on this kit for today. So, if you have enjoyed this video, why not leave a like and comment down below, and have a wonderful day.